In 1816, a French Navy ship ran aground off the coast of Africa. The lifeboats were there, but they were not for everyone. 147 people were loaded onto a makeshift raft and left behind. Their own captain cut the rope. 13 days later, only 15 were still alive. And what happened on that raft during those 13 days? The world was not ready to hear it. Here is what you need to understand first. France in 1816 was a mess. Napoleon had just been defeated at Waterloo. The monarchy was back, and the new king was handing out important jobs, not to qualified men, but to loyal ones. That is how a man named Hugues de Roy de Chaumareys became captain of the Méduse. He had not been to sea in over 20 years. He had no business commanding a ship, but he knew the right people. And in 1816 France, that was enough. The Méduse was heading to Senegal on the west coast of Africa, carrying around 400 people, soldiers, settlers, officials, families starting new lives. On July 2nd, 1816, off the coast of Mauritania, the Méduse ran aground on a sandbank, not because of a storm, not because of fog, because of incompetence happening in slow motion. The ship was stuck, the captain panicked, and then came the decision that exposed everything rotten about France in 1816. There were not enough lifeboats for everyone, so who got them? The officers, the officials, the upper classes, the people who mattered to the people making the decisions. Everyone else, 147 soldiers, sailors, and ordinary passengers, was loaded onto a badly built makeshift raft that was already sitting low in the water before a single person stepped on it. The plan was for the lifeboats to tow the raft to shore. Less than an hour later, the tow ropes were cut. De Chaumarey later claimed it was an accident. Nobody believed him. 147 people were alone on a sinking raft in the middle of the Atlantic, and their captain was already rowing away. The very first night, 20 people were murdered, not drowned, not lost overboard, murdered in the darkness by other survivors fighting over space and what little wine remained. By day 4, 147 had become 67. Think about that number for a moment. 80 people gone in 4 days. Some killed, some fallen overboard, some simply giving up. The food was gone, the water was gone, the sun was merciless, and the Atlantic gave no shade. People began drinking seawater, which drove some of them mad. And on day 4, the remaining survivors faced a choice that no human being should ever have to face. The dead were already there, and the living were starving. You already know what happened next. But here is the detail that makes it worse. They did not descend into savagery gradually. It happened fast, shockingly fast. Because when you are starving on a raft in the Atlantic with no rescue in sight, the rules of civilization dissolve faster than anyone wants to admit. 13 days after the tow ropes were cut, a passing ship called the Argus spotted something on the horizon, a raft. They pulled alongside. 15 people were still alive. The rescue crew never forgot what they saw on that raft, and neither did France when the survivors came home and started talking. 2 survivors, a doctor named Savigny and an engineer named Correard, published everything, every detail, nothing softened, nothing hidden. It became a sensation, and it became a scandal, because everyone reading it understood that 147 ordinary people had been abandoned on that raft so that the upper classes could have the lifeboats. A young painter named Theodore Géricault read every word. He was 27 years old, brilliant, troubled, looking for a subject that would make his name. He found it. What followed was 2 years of obsession that would have broken most people. Géricault interviewed survivors. He sketched them. He visited hospitals and morgues across Paris to study exactly what extreme suffering does to a human body. He had body parts brought to his studio so he could paint them accurately as they decomposed. He kept a severed head on the roof of his studio for 2 weeks. Then he locked himself in a large studio outside Paris, shaved his head, refused all visitors, had meals brought to him, and painted in complete silence for 18 months. The result was a canvas nearly 5 meters wide and 7 meters tall. It showed the moment the survivors spotted the Argus on the horizon, like waving desperately at a ship so far away it was barely a speck. And here is the detail that makes it devastating. In real life, the Argus did not see them that time. It sailed past. Jericho chose the moment not of rescue, but of hope being extinguished. When the painting appeared at the Paris Salon in 1819, it stopped people where they stood, not just because of the suffering it showed, because of who Jericho had chosen as his hero. At the very top of the painting, the highest point, the figure waving most desperately at the horizon, was a black man, Jean Charles, the only black survivor. In a country where slavery would not be abolished for another 30 years, Jericho had placed a black man at the apex of the most important painting in France. It was not an accident, it was a statement. Hidden throughout the painting were details that made it even darker. A bloody axe half concealed at the wreckage, a torso with its lower half missing, an old man clutching his dead son, his arm bandaged, as if he had fought to protect the body from being eaten. Critics called it everything from a masterpiece to a pile of corpses, depending on their politics. De Chaumaret, the captain, was eventually put on trial. His sentence for abandoning 147 people on a sinking raft, 3 years. He served them. He was released. He lived until 1841. Jericho was not so fortunate. The painting that should have made him famous remained unsold. He died at 32 years old, broke, and convinced he had never achieved anything worthwhile. The Louvre bought the painting after his death. Today it hangs in room 700, nearly 5 meters wide. You can stand in front of it. It is the second most visited painting in the Louvre, after the Mona Lisa, and the man at the top is still waving at a ship that already sailed past. In 1816, a captain who had no business commanding a ship abandoned 147 people on a sinking raft so that the right people could have the lifeboats. A court gave him 3 years. A painter gave him eternity because that painting is still there. Room 700, Louvre, Paris. And every person who stands in front of it understands immediately, without being told, exactly what kind of world puts the wrong people in charge. Some things never change.